Hello and welcome to another edition of Coach's Corner right here on the Westminster Cable Network. I'm your host, Steve Brink. We got a good show lined up for you today. Senior fullback Matt Knight is in the house. We're going to talk to him a little bit about the W&J game last week and also about Bethany this upcoming Saturday. Therese Marzalek has the Pack Report. We're going to find out who's on top in the NFL Pick'em Challenge standings, and also we're going to check out what happened around the PAC last week. And as always, Coach Hand is here. We're going to talk with him about W&J and Bethany, the homecoming game this week. But before we do that, let's check out what happened against W&J in the first half. Well, it was a beautiful day at W&J. Their homecoming down in Washington, Pennsylvania. And we're going to get things started off right here. W&J opening possession for them. Bobby Swallow pass complete to Kevin Matthews for 25 yards to the Westminster 32-yard line. Very next play, Bobby Swallow going to hit Tom McCafferty for 14 yards right there down to the Westminster 18-yard line. Then, a couple plays later, Ryan Mendel in from 4 yards out. Touchdown, W&J. They go up 7-0. Next Titan possession, Kevin France. Going to find Brian Becker right there for a nice pickup on the play for 15 yards. A couple plays later on second down and goal. France trying to hit Jordan Baelish in the end zone, but that is going to be incomplete. Pass interference on the play, so the Titans going to get it down at the 2-yard line. And then Gary Hutzler, the tight end, his first career touchdown reception in from 2 yards out. Titans tied up at 7. That would be the closest the Titans get, though, as then on the next W&J possession, Bobby Swallow going to hit Tom McCafferty for 40 yards for the touchdown. W&J going up 13-7. The extra point would make it 14-7. Next W&J possession. Right there, a huge hit by Mike Cashone on the receiver. Big play right there by Cashone in the defense, but Kevin France on the next Titan possession. He's going to get picked off right there by Nick Cherish in the middle of the field. W&J in business. Then Swallow going to give to Kevin Matthews on the carry. 11 yards on the pickup down to the Westminster 16-yard line. A couple plays later on second down and goal. Swallow going to get the troops on the line, ready to go, and he's going to give to Ryan Mendel. Mendel in from 2 yards out, one of 3 touchdowns on the day for him. W&J would go up by a score of 21-7. Then late in the first half, W&J trying to add another score on. You just see the 5 wideouts right here. Bobby Swallow fakes the handoff, and he is going to find Greg Flick for 30 yards all the way down to the Westminster 33-yard line, and then from just a few yards out, Bobby Swallow this time, instead of throwing, he's going to take off on his feet. As you're going to see right here from the shotgun, going to scramble, pick up 3 yards, W&J touchdown. They go up 28-7 at the end of the first half. Welcome back on Coach's Corner. And Coach Hand, when we look at that first half, your team, I mean, you guys were right there for the first quarter and a half, and then it just kind of, a couple turnovers and just kind of went on from there. How would you assess your team's performance in the first half? Because it was really close pretty much throughout and up until the last few minutes.
Well, the effort was there. They were putting great effort in, and the mentality of a turnover and going out there and playing sudden change defense didn't happen. We didn't play as physical as we needed to play on the defensive side of the ball, and we turned the ball over twice offensively, and it's hard to it's hard to come away on top at halftime when you do those things.
What do you think the turning point was in the first half?
Well, I mean, it very easily could be. It could be the turnovers. It could be us not getting a stop on the first possession like we need to do. There could be many things.
Now Ryan Mendel had a good game. He had 133 yards, 3 touchdowns, and it seems like this year, especially, W&J's been running the ball a lot more. And I know they don't have the Chris Edwards, Aaron Krebs a lot more, but you notice that W&J's really been running the football a lot more than they did on Saturday as well. Yeah, no,
they're doing a nice job. They run the ball well. We knew that coming into the game, and actually we held them to right about their average as far as rushing is concerned. They were able to throw the ball a little bit more successfully than what we wanted. But you have to give them credit that typically at any level of football, it's easier to line up and throw the football. It's harder to get in the pits and run the football, and they've really committed to getting in the pits and running the football, which before they would have chosen the easier route is throwing the ball.
Now their quarterback, Bobby Swallow, had a nice game as well. And what were your thoughts on him, seeing him for the first time?
Oh, I thought the key for him was third down. I mean, he did a great job on third down. And, even when we were defending the run, he came through with a few key third down completions.
Now your quarterback Kevin France has been so solid all season long, but not one of his better games on Saturday. How much of it do you think was him just not having his best day, and how much of it do you think was W&J's defense?
I think it was a little bit of both. I mean, it definitely was not Kevin's best game, but it still was a solid game by Kevin. He believe it or not, he's improved in some areas. It's hard when it's glaring, when you throw interceptions back to back like that. Everybody can assume that he just had a horrible game, but he actually played an okay game, and he's going to get better from it.
All right, well, Westminster trails 28-7 at the half. Let's check out what happened in the second half highlights. 28-7 was the score at the half, and W&J on their very first possession of the second half going to pick up right where they left off in the first half. First series, Ryan Mendel going to pick up a nice chunk of change right here, 19 yards all the way down to the 20-yard line of Westminster, and then once the President's in the red zone, they know what to do with it. Swallow going to run for 20 yards, his second rushing touchdown of the day. W&J goes up 34-7 after the extra point was missed. Next W&J possession after a Dusty Rose punt. Kevin Matthews going to get the football right here, and he will run for 12 yards down to the Westminster 17-yard line. Tackle made by Jason Fridley of the Titans. Then that's going to set up a few plays later, second and goal. From the 2, Mendel again in from 2 yards out. Touchdown W&J. They go up 40-7. Another missed extra point by the Presidents. Then on their next possession, this is the start of the fourth quarter now. Ryan Church into the ball game for the Presidents on 3rd and 4. He's going to get the carry. The 36-yard line here, as you see. The QB, backup QB, going to take it all the way down to the W&J 50-yard line right at midfield. And that is going to set up next play, 1st and 10 from the midfield line. Ryan Church drops back to pass, and he finds David Ravita for 50 yards for a touchdown. W&J up 47-7. They would go on to add a field goal to make it 57, and that's how this one would end. Titans fall 50-7 at W&J. All right, welcome back to Coach's Corner. And Coach Hand, when we look at that game, Dan Broadland, the stud DN for W&J, only had a sack and a half, but only had 2 tackles in the game. How do you feel that your offensive line did against not only him but the entire defensive line of W&J?
Well, we gave up sacks in key situations. Statistically, it's going to look good that we only have given up a few sacks. But the key is for us is we help our offensive line a great deal by the screen game and the 3-step game, and they did a nice job overall. But the crucial sack in crucial situations are the ones we have to eliminate.
Now, one person in particular I want to talk about is Jordan Blinn, who's had just an unbelievable season for you. Had a career high in tackles on Saturday. What has he meant to your defense this year?
Oh, he's really been the lifeblood of the defense. I mean, he's one of the better linebackers in the conference. I mean, he really is, and he has a great deal of intensity and smarts, and he's a sophomore, and he's showing a little bit of leadership ability, and he's going to get better and better as well.
Now, as a coach, looking back to last week, is this kind of one of those games where you just throw out the tape and forget it and move ahead to Bethany, or do you kind of go back and look at the film and try and correct the mistakes that were made?
No, actually, we treat it in the same manner, in the sense of there are things that we need to learn from that game, and that's what's so great about the game of football, is that it's going to teach you about life if you're open to it. And there were a lot of life lessons in there, and we have a 24-hour rule, and after those 24 hours, then we put the tape away and until Thursday when we show it on Coach's Corner. But for the most part, it is a way just like any other game, though.
Now, what was the emphasis on in practice this week, offensively and defensively?
The emphasis is defensively is playing physical, and Probably the thing we haven't done at the end of the games, these last couple games, is really letting the other team know that they played the Titans, and that's something that we have to work on, and that's something that we have to get better at. Offensively, it's continued consistency, and for everyone, it's believing in one another in all phases of the game, and it's true teamwork. The offense believing in the defense believing in the offense, and playing great special teams. And right now, at times, different phases will play well, but we have to get the whole thing working together.
All right, well, we're going to take a short break on Coach's Corner, and when we come back, Therese Marzalek will have her Pack Report. We'll be right back after this.
Heading towards feeling great? We'll help you get there at Lawrence County Chiropractic. You'll get the best care possible since we use the latest in technology and equipment to get you on the road to recovery. You can also take advantage of the massage therapist on staff. So stop by or call for an appointment at Lawrence County Chiropractic today. Walk-ins are welcome and most insurances are accepted. Lawrence County Chiropractic in Newcastle's Giant Eagle Plaza on Route 422.
Sooner or later, it's going to happen to you. You arrive home late. There's your starving family asking, what's to eat? And you have nothing ready. That's when Augustine's Frozen Pizzas can come to the rescue. 6 varieties of ready-to-bake favorites made right here in Newcastle. The smells of roasted garlic and fresh mozzarella will soon be coming from your oven. The solution to your next food crisis is right in your local grocery aisle. Augustine's Frozen Pizza. Freeze it today, bake it for a snack or a meal tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Tanya Flynn Worminski at Flynn's Tire and Service Center. With gas prices going sky high, I have a great money-saving tip for you. Make sure your tires are properly inflated. That will save you up to 3% in gas mileage. You can stop into any Flynn's Tire and Service Center like the one on Wilmington Road in Newcastle, and we'll do that for you for free. You can also check us out on flynnstire.com, our website, for some more money-saving tips.
Welcome back to Coach's Corner Sports fans. I'm Therese Marzalek, bringing you your Week 6 edition of the Pack Report. But of course, before we dive into this past week's games, let's take a look at the conference standings as of this past Saturday. Well, we see that Waynesburg is still on top, having improved their record to 3-0 in the pack. WJ are in second, remaining undefeated with a 2-0 mark. Teal is right behind them with 3 wins and 1 loss. Thomas More College is still even with 2 wins and 2 losses. Bethany is in 5th place with 1 win and 2 losses. Coming in at 6th is Grove City College with 1 win and 4 losses, and still at the bottom is Westminster College with 3 losses and 0 wins in the pack. Moving on, let's take a look at how the teams did this past Saturday, starting with the Bethany Bison. The Bison faced the Waynesburg Yellow Jackets and saw their first loss in conference play. The Yellow Jackets got an early lead on the Bison, with Bethany only scoring 3 points from kicker Rob Meals' 22-yard field goal in the first half. In the second half, the Bison were able to get 2 more scores, but both came in the 4th quarter. The first touchdown coming from running back Alex Boda with a 37-yard run, and the second score coming from a 2-yard touchdown pass from quarterback Brent Owens to TJ Parker. Parker set 2 Bethany career receiving records in the game against Waynesburg. His 8 catches gave him 150 catches for his career, beating the previous record of 145 catches. He also had 76 receiving yards to take him to 1,969, the best in Bethany history. On Waynesburg's side of things, the Yellow Jackets were able to post an amazing 354 team rushing yards in their homecoming win against Bethany. Waynesburg rushed for 5 touchdowns, 3 of which came from running back Ryan Abels. Abels had 157 yards on 25 attempts and 3 touchdowns. He broke 2 school records with 240 points in his career scoring and 40 career touchdowns. Eric Daniels also had a great rushing game with 161 yards on 21 attempts and a touchdown. Defensively, it was a day of sacks for the Yellow Jackets, posting a total of 5 sacks for the day. Linebacker Dan Andreassi had 10 tackles and a sack. A nice showing for Waynesburg's homecoming game. Final score of the game, Bethany 15, Waynesburg 41. Next, we will look at the Teal versus Grove City matchup. Starting with Teal, the Tomcats were led by tailback Dan Hess, who rushed 32 times for 113 yards and a career best of 3 touchdowns. Defensively, Teal was led by defensive end Robert Hughes, who had 4 tackles, 3 tackles for losses, and a pair of sacks. Chris Lorber also had 3 tackles and 2 sacks. The Tomcats were able to hold Grove City to just 119 total offensive yards and an amazing -4 rushing yards. On the Wolverines' end of things, Grove City was pretty much shut down by Teal's defense. Junior Jay Yannack caught a team-high 5 passes for 63 yards, while Scott Fitchter, who returned from an injury, caught 2 passes against Teal. Defensively, Bill Wall had a great game with a season best of 17 tackles, including 12 solo stops and 2 sacks. Justin Fowler blocked his 6th kick of the season and had 7 tackles, 3 of which were for losses. But Grove City did not come out with the win, which meant that Teal won the Mercer County Cup for the 4th straight year. Final score, Teal 20, Grove City zip. And next we look at the Thomas More Saints as they left conference play this past week to take on Frostburg State. Freshman running back Monty Collier had his 2nd straight 100-yard game with 133 yards on 23 carries and a touchdown. Senior Chris Willis had a 59-yard punt return that eventually set up the Saints for the game-winning score. Defensively, senior linebacker Mark Carlisle had an outstanding game with 18 tackles, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, and a tackle for a loss. The Saints were able to turn a 7-0 shortfall into a 13-7 win as the Thomas More Saints defeated Frostburg State. And now it's time to look at the offensive, defensive, and special teams players of the week, starting out with the offensive player of the week. This week, the award goes to senior running back from Washington and Jefferson, Ryan Mendel, from Brentwood High School in Pittsburgh, PA. Mendel rushed for 132 yards and 3 touchdowns for the day. The leading rusher in the pack totaled 164 all-purpose yards and the blowout win against Westminster. Now looking at the defensive player of the week, this week the honor goes to senior linebacker from Thomas More College, Mark Carlisle, from Bloom Carroll High School in Canal, Winchester, Ohio. Carl had 18 tackles, 9 solo, 1 tackle for a loss, and added a forced fumble and a fumble recovery in their win against Frostburg State. This is the 2nd time that Carlisle has won defensive player of the week. And for the special teams player of the week, this week it goes to Thomas More's senior cornerback Chris Willis from Broad Ripple High School in Indianapolis, Indiana. Willis returned a punt for 59 yards for the game-winning touchdown. He also had 3 tackles and an interception. Congrats to all the guys who made the player of the week. And now it's time to see who made it on this week's Fantastic Five. We've got a nice bunch this week, starting out with number 5. And the number 5 spot goes to defensive end from Teal College, Dan Hughes. Hughes had 14 tackles, 3 of which were for a loss and 2 sacks for the day. And at number 4 is Justin Fowler from Grove City College. Fowler tied the school record for blocked kicks when he knocked down his 6th of the season. He also had 7 tackles, 3 that were for losses. Number 3 goes to TJ Parker of Bethany College. Parker broke 2 of Bethany's records in receiving yards and catches when he had 8 catches for 76 yards. Coming in at number 2 is linebacker Bill Wall from Grove City. Wall had a season high of 17 tackles, 12 of which were solo, and 2 sacks in the game. And at number 1 is Waynesburg's running back Ryan Abels. Abels had 157 yards on 25 carries and 3 touchdowns. The game broke 2 of Waynesburg's records in career points, with the new record being 240, and career touchdowns, which were able to set a new record with 40. What a group we had this weekend. We'll see if we can beat that next weekend. And now we will look at the games that are coming up this weekend. Bethany will travel to Westminster as the Titans look to win their homecoming game and their first win in conference play. Grove City will be at Washington and Jefferson to try to break W&J's winning streak. Waynesburg will be at Teal, and Thomas More will continue their break from pack play as they host Huntington College. And now it's time to look at the new standings for the NFL Pick'em Challenge. I was really excited for this part of the show for the past week, but after I saw the standings, I got a little sad. Coach Hand improved his wins, having 2 games up on me, and Steve is almost caught up with all of his games, making it quite the close race. I have a feeling about this week, though, unless the other 2 copy off my picks, which why wouldn't they, since I'm so good at it? But if they don't, I will be where I should be, which is winning. But here are the games for next week. Philadelphia at Tampa Bay, Denver at Cleveland, Carolina at Cincinnati, Pittsburgh at Atlanta, San Diego at Kansas City, New York Giants at Dallas. Well, that does it for this week's edition of the Pack Report. Back to you, Steve.
All right, thanks, Therese. Well, now I'm joined by Matt Knight, senior fullback of the Westminster Titans. And Matt, this is your senior year, and I asked a couple other guys, Jake Buzzard, some of the other captains this earlier on in the year. What does it mean to be one of the captains of the team?
As a football team, we vote on captains. The players vote. The coaches don't pick. So I think it means a lot that the players voted me as one of their captains.
Now, W&J had a pretty good game plan against you guys defensively on Saturday. What did they do that made them so effective against your offense, and what have you guys been stressing this week in practice offensively?
W&J is a well-coached football team. One thing they did do is they took advantage of our performance. We didn't come out like we should have for a football game. They took advantage of that. They also were well coached on our screen game and our short passing game. They shut us down there. This week we are focusing more on our vertical passing game and getting back to some fundamentals that we should have had during the W&J game.
Now, I wanted to ask you this. Fullback, obviously not one of the more glamorous positions on the field, but I wanted to see, what do you like most about being a fullback? What's the best part about that position?
Being a fullback is like being a linebacker. And for 2 years at Westminster, I played linebacker. I was moved to fullback last season because of some injuries. So it's about the closest thing I can get to like hitting some people. I don't really care about glamour and stuff. The other guys can have that. So.
Yeah. Well, that's good. All right, now you only got 4 games left in your Titan career, and you and the other seniors, last homecoming game this week, only a few more weeks of practice. What are you feeling emotionally, this being your final month of football here at Westminster?
I really haven't thought about it a whole lot. I mean, we still have 4 games left, and we like to take it one game at a time, but it is kind of creeping up on me that, I'll no longer be able to play football at Westminster or, anywhere else, So, I mean, it means a lot just to go out and have fun with the guys while I still can.
Now, homecoming this weekend, you guys got Bethany. What have you seen from them defensively on film so far?
They're pretty defensively sound. Like I said, they're going to be well coached. They're going to key on some things that we do. One thing that we want to take advantage of is their linebackers. They read pretty fast and they bite on play action. So we plan on taking advantage of that.
Now, homecoming obviously this weekend. Do you guys get juiced up a little extra for homecoming? Knowing that there's so many people in the stands.
The homecoming game is always a big game for any football team, especially here at Westminster. I believe this year we're inviting back 3 national championship teams for homecoming this year. So I mean, it's going to be even more special for us to go out there and just carry on the tradition that Westminster has, and let the alumni that played football enjoy the game, and hopefully that we come away with a victory.
Yeah, well, Matt, good luck this week against Bethany, and thanks for joining us here today on Coach's Corner.
All right, thanks.
All right, well, we will be back with Coach Hand. We're going to talk about those Bethany Bison right after this on Coach's Corner.
Wouldn't it be nice to take a trip to Mexico? The sun, the sand, and of course the food. Now, if you're like most people, you can't just go to Mexico. But the good news is that a taste of Mexico is right in your backyard. El Canelo has everything you need to have that authentic Mexican experience. Located on Wilmington Road, right across from the McDonald's, you can have a delicious meal all while relaxing to the sounds of Mexico. So go ahead, take a vacation. Visit El Canelo in Newcastle today.
Ice skating, what a great form of exercise and fun. And there's no better place than Hess Ice Rink in Newcastle. Interested in figure skating or hockey? Come in and be part of our Learn to Skate program, open to all ages and skill levels. Hess Ice Rink, the home of the Hess Hockey Association and the area's largest competitive figure skating team, open every day. Hess Ice Rink welcomes all ages to come and enjoy the excitement and sport of ice skating. Let Hess plan your next birthday party or occasion. Hess Ice Rink on Mitchell Road in Newcastle.
Why do dogs chase cars? It's the tires. We love them. And Tire Express loves tires as much as I do. Plus, Tire Express is the kind of place you can comfortably send your grandmother. Tire Express is great, with dependable tires and everyday low prices and honest service. And Tire Express is as fast as me, Chico. They get you in and out in a hurry. That's why Matt's been in the tire business for over 25 years. That's 175 in dog years. Tire Express, often copied, never equaled. When it comes to tires, they're the top dog.
So you're a huge Western Pennsylvania football fan? Then NCNewsOnline.com is for you. Crunch is an award-winning internet site of the Newcastle News devoted to area high school football, where you'll get a daily fix of schedules, scores, rosters, highlights, opinion, and player profiles, plus video and photo galleries. Online at ncnewsonline.com. It's football coverage as it happens, designed for you, the dedicated fan. Crunch online at ncnewsonline.com.
All right, welcome back to Coach's Corner. I'm joined once again by Coach Han. And Coach Han, we got Bethany coming up this weekend. What should we expect to see from them? What have you noticed on film so far from Bethany?
Oh, they're very fundamentally sound. They're offensively, they're going to be more explosive than they have been in the past. They have a good group of receivers. They have they have an offensive line that plays well within their scheme, and they have a quarterback that's he's a senior and he's playing well right now.
And you mentioned their receiving core, and they got one receiver in particular, T.J. Parker, who's had a very, very solid season, one of the better receivers in the PAC. What are you guys going to do defensively to try and contain him?
Well, he's definitely a guy that we need to stop. I mean, but going into any game, I mean, defensively, we have the plan that, and number one thing is we have to make them one-dimensional, and and that's the thing that that we have not done as well as we should this year, and that's we have to take away their run game. I mean, and they haven't been able to run the ball statistically all year, but we have to take that away, force them to be one-dimensional.
Now you talk about the running game, and last year you guys had a lot of success running the football against them. Sean Buggy had a big day, and what were you able to do last year that made that so effective against them? And do you think you can do that again this week against Bethany?
Well, last year they weren't as fast defensively, and we were able to take advantage of some things. They played a little different defense this year. This year they are a lot more. I don't know how exactly to say it in layman's terms, but more traditional of a defense, I would say, this year as compared to last. We're not expecting to be able to outflank them like we did last year.
Now, homecoming obviously on Saturday. What do you expect the atmosphere to be like in the stands and just in general on Saturday?
Oh, I think it's going to be a great atmosphere. I mean, homecoming here is a big deal, and it's one of the better atmospheres that I've found in college football, and I hope for a good day, and and I know there'll be production and improvement on the football field.
Now, do you as a coach, do you use that as a motivational tool? Being in the homecoming game, or do you think players generally just get it more excited being at homecoming?
No, I think it's a general thing that it's a homecoming game, and as Matt said, I mean, here it's a little different because when you have 3 national championship teams coming back to watch you play, I mean, you want to take that pride in showing them what we're all about, and in our era of football, and so hopefully there is that extra motivation.
Now, what do the Titans need to do this weekend to be successful against Bethany?
Well, the number one thing for us is to be able to have a balanced attack offensively, and be able to continue to improve defensively, and take a big step in playing physical defensively, and making sure that we're not giving up the big play.
All right, thanks, Coach Han, for joining us. Good luck this week against Bethany. We'll see if the Titans can get win number 1 in the PAC this week against Bethany. It's homecoming. Make sure you tune in on Saturday. That's going to do it for this edition of Coach's Corner. We'll see you next week.
Celebrating the fact that the Latin Grammys are going to be presented in New York for the first time. So that's why he's up there, and a few